space cats, and also Crow that is making lots of crowy noises outside. If you saw my teeny tiny message last weekend, then you'll know that I'm having another go at shooting this video. Third time lucky. First time there was no sound at all. Second time there was hideous sound, and I wasn't prepared to put you through that. So this time I'm coming from my studio with my old trusty mic, so hopefully that will just work fine. You cool cats might remember that this year has been a bit tough for me with various things going on health-wise. However, I've still managed to get a book out, and that book is called Vincent and the Mermaid. And here it is. I decided, because it's a much longer format picture book than I'd normally do, and that was requested by my publisher, it's actually 96 pages instead of the regular 32. So it's for slightly older children, so 5 to 7s, but it's still a picture book relevant to that sort of age group, and younger children as well. But I thought, instead of, when I'm going out into the community and bringing the story to children and audiences, instead of reading from the book, I would bring it alive by storytelling it with characters. So I asked my son's girlfriend, Matilda, who is very talented, to please could she help me make a few things. And she came up with, and I've probably shown you these guys before, this is Tabitha. And she is the mermaid. She has lovely sort of sequiny tail and a tulle flippery bit off the bottom of her tail, and some woolly hair that we unravelled a bit. I helped a little bit with that. But she crocheted, she made the whole body, and she crocheted all these little extra bits, some seaweed and a little crab. And she gave her really, really long arms, which is fantastic because she's very expressive. So when she's telling the story about what's going on with the sea and how all the sea creatures have gone away because of all the rubbish and there's nowhere for them to go because the reef's washed away and all this sort of stuff, she can be very expressive with her arms about it. So that actually has worked incredibly well. And I had a go at making, it's like shiny, there's a shiny thing on my shoulder, ignore that, it's not a ghost. I had a go at making Vincent. Here he is, and this guy has an open and shutting mouth. So I have actually made puppets that have mouths like this before. One was an Elvis puppet that was for Dogstar, and he also has a little bit of wool on the back of his wings so that I can flap him like that, and he can talk and engage with children. And this is one of the things that I really wanted to see if might help you when you're bringing a story to your audience, whether you can take something with you that will help you engage with children and also calm your nerves a little bit. It doesn't have to be puppets. When I first started out, it was word searches and colouring sheets and things to stick and glue, anything that was really relevant to my story. The second character that Matilda made was, here he is, Basil. He's got groovy eyebrows and sort of Elvis inspired hair and a big cloak, and he's got very cute little arms that are also, I mean, he's just, isn't he adorable? He's just so great, and it really does look like the characters that I painted. Then I decided I was going to go on and do the 3 sea creatures that also appear later on in the story, and one of them has not worked out very well, and that is Eddie the octopus. Here he is. I've had some comments about Eddie that he looks more like a jellyfish, and now I can totally see that. So I'm actually going to remake him, and I'm going to probably video that process so that you can see how I put this guy together. So he's going to be done again. But I also made, a few weeks ago, you might have seen Dorcas the dolphin. She's got teeny tiny teeth. I don't know if you can see that very well, but she's got tiny teeth. And I just bought some fleecy fabric. There was about 1/2 metre of the blue and 1/2 metre of the white, and I made this in 5 pieces. 5 pieces? 3 pieces. 3 pieces. So this with one fin, and this half a fin, and then I did the mirror for the other side, and then that is just one whole piece as well. The only thing I'd say about this one is what I did was when I turned it the right way out, so that the outside was on the outside and you can't see the seams, and I'd left a little gap along here somewhere, I didn't fill the dolphin with toy stuffing before I put the eyes in. And in retrospect, I think I would have probably put the eyes a bit further down, like about here, just to make her expression a bit goofier. But you live and learn, and I did live and learned, because when I made this guy, this is Wally the whale, I did exactly that. Here he is with his barnacles, and his eyes, when I'd stuffed him, I made his eyes quite far back, so it makes his mouth look really big, like a humpback whale's mouth is. If I'd put his eyes here, he would have looked, it would have been much less impactful. And he, in the story, has to have a big flippy flappy tail, because one of the elements of the story is that he flips all the rubbish that's collected on the bottom of the sea floor into a bin that's on the beach. So he flips it all in. So that's why that tail has to be a bit more floppy, and he's not super duper full. But the way I made his ridges underneath was I sandwiched between this layer and another piece of fabric some stuffing, and then I just sewed lines down it, and that helps to give that sort of view of the humpback whale underneath those ridges. And I also made, when I made this, so this came in 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. The flippers are separate, and then the top part, the top blue bit, and that I just made the right shape, and I really, the only thing I pattern cut was the tail out of some newspaper. There we go, there's the tail. That's what I used to make the tail pattern, and then I guessed the rest. I just made sure that it was symmetrical, so I did half, and then I made sure the other half was exactly the same, and the flippers were completely separate. But when I came to do this bit, because I wanted this, the top bit needed to be flatter and this bit needed to be more curved, I placed this side down onto my light blue fabric, and up to here and all the way around the tail it's identical. The two colours are identical. But when I got to about here, I started to bring out the pattern much bigger. So this part of the pattern is bigger by about, starting off minimally, but really getting to probably about a good inch when it gets to up here. So in effect, this bit is a bit gathered, and I think he's turned out really, really well. The only thing that would probably be complained about, picked up on, politely criticised from the difference between him in the book and here, is that he is a different colour. So he is the colour that a whale would more likely be. In my book I made Wally more magenta-y coloured on the top, just because I wanted the colours to be zingy, and had I have been able to get hold of some magenta-y coloured fabric in fleece, I would have done so, but unfortunately the shop that I get my fabric from didn't have that colour. So we worked with what we had, what was available, and we don't worry about that sort of thing. Not much anyway. So there you go, that's how I'm going to tell that story. I've really enjoyed the process, and as I said to you in a video fairly recently, I feel like I've really got my creative mojo back. So I'm going to be doing quite a lot of making of things in the next few weeks, and I'm going to take you along for the ride. And I know that's not what everybody comes to the channel for. Probably a lot of you come to understand how to put picture books together, but I think this is really relevant, because particularly when you are starting out and you're a little bit nervous about how you're going to engage with the kids and the audience, whether or not you can hold their attention, and how you're going to carry yourself for maybe an hour with this story, then having something to fall back on to talk to the children about, or give them something to do, then that's really helpful. I've definitely found with the guys that I've made that, I mean, he hasn't made an outing yet, but he will do. The ones that I've already taken with me, I've taken Vincent, and the kids love coming up and stroking him, and they love Tabitha because girls love mermaids, a lot of boys love mermaids, and they like going up and shaking her hand or having a closer look at her. So it's really, really helpful to have those sorts of things. And also, he just sits on my shoulder. Isn't that great? Anyway, I'll also be taking you along for the ride of making teeny tiny things in the next few weeks, because I've got a really exciting project that I'm going to be working on. It's a cross between storytelling and story making and a sort of theatre props art installation kind of thing, and it's going to be in the gallery nearby. So until then, I'm going to keep it a secret, but I'm going to go and hang out with this guy for a little while and get ready for autumn. So I'll see you next week, won't we? Yes. No.